Hey guys, Lisa Callaghy here to share with you a video on how to utilize the Assess and Teach feature in ExactPath. All right, let's get started. So I am in a teacher's ExactPath account. From ClassLink, clicking on the Edmentum courseware tile. Landing on her homepage, to access the Assess and Teach, I'm coming up to the black menu bar and selecting that menu option. Okay, so Assess and Teach has two parts. There is a standard mastery and there's a priority skill lesson section. Assess and Teach are actually places, this actual place is where you would assign assignments to your students. The standards mastery assignments are actual assessments and they are related to the subject area and skill for specific grade levels that relate back to the New Jersey Student Learning Standards. So if you are interested in assigning a assessment in a specific subject area for a specific grade level, you can take a look at the different assessments here. But I did create a video on how to do this and how to see the results and so forth. So check back on the ExactPath playlist in the UC EdTech YouTube channel. For this video, we are going to talk about the priority skill lessons. And this is the second place in the Assess and Teach where you're able to assign resources to your students. Now, why would you assign resources? Obviously, resources are available to help your students. So if you see students are struggling with a specific skill, you can assign a resource. If you are about to teach a specific skill, you could utilize this area to do whole group instruction on that skill. And that's what I'm kind of going to model here, just so that you're able to see what it looks like from the student's perspective. And then I will assign the resource, and then we'll go ahead and see what it looks like from the teacher's perspective in terms of seeing the results of a resource that is assigned to the students. Okay, so let's start. Again, Assess and Teach, coming to priority skill lessons. We have two ways of searching. We can search by skill or by standard. I'm going to start by skill. Coming down to our drop-down menus, we will select the subject that we're looking for, resources, the grade level that we teach, or possibly choosing a lower grade level, a higher grade level, depending on what it is that you are looking to assign. And then choosing the domain, and then finally the skill. Or if you do have a skill, you can type the skill here in the keyword search and see if there are any lessons available for your students. Once you've done that, you're going to click on Go. All right, so now we're going to look at our results list. You'll see at the top, this is just going back over what it was that you selected to receive these results. So our first group of results here is telling me I have a Learning Path resource for grades K through 5, and the title is Pen Pals, and it is a lesson and there is a practice. A teacher can preview either one of these by clicking on preview, and we're going to do that in a second, but I just want to scroll down further to show you that you do also have some other resources. But notice the difference between these two. Obviously the title, it's the same skill, but you'll see this one is a lesson and practice that is appropriate for grades K through 12. So again, you want to make sure it's appropriate for your students. And then coming down, you also have another Pen Pals. This is the same as before, but you'll see that there is a mastery quiz also involved here. So it would be the same lesson, the same practice, but adding a mastery quiz to that resource. And then you also have worksheets that you can print out, so PDFs, and you can also preview those over here. So let's start with previewing. I'm going to actually preview these three since lessons are the same. You're going to see it, maybe not the same content, but it's going to be presented in the same way, and same with practice. And then you'll get to see what a mastery quiz looks like. So clicking on preview, it's going to open up another tab, and you'll see that the students have access. This is what the students are going to see, and they would click on the start button. You'll see up here their slides, exits, and over on the left-hand side of the screen are tools. Different resources have different tools for students to use. This one is a dictionary, so they could look up a word, type in a word, click on lookup, and it will give them the definition of the word. Okay, let's start so you could see.
Good morning.
Okay, I'm just going to pause that. Now you can see that students will definitely need headsets while they are going through this resource or this assignment. Noticing at the bottom how many slides there are. We went from the first slide to the second slide, and you can see it's highlighted in a darker color. It does tell you how many total slides there are up here. So you have an idea of how long it might take a student to go through this lesson. Students are able to go back and go forward and stop and start the lesson. And then they could come up and exit the lesson here. So that is a quick preview of a lesson. Again, you could show this to your students if this is something that you want to do as a whole class, presenting either on your Smartboard or Promethean board to go through this lesson if you are introducing this skill to your students. All right, so now let's take a look at the practice piece. Okay, so now you're seeing that, again, students are going to need headsets. And the next thing they have to do here is click on Start. Okay, so this practice kind of is going to give students a few slides that will then lead up to the actual question for the practice. So practice has slides and also questions. So it's meant to see if the students understood the concepts and the skills that were presented to them in the previous lesson, and it's kind of refreshing that here with these a few slides. They can skip that, and if they do, okay, so now they're at the practice part, so they finish. So after reading the text, now they need to answer the questions. Up here you can see they have how many questions they have, how they can get to the next question. They see their score. There's question mark here if they need help, which would bring that back to the actual kind of like refreshing them on the skill. And they have the ability to go back and look at the text, okay? And then they have information here that will help them with the actual practice piece. When they're finished, they click on exit, okay? So that's what a practice piece or practice looks like. Resource, actually. It's a resource that's related directly to the lesson. And then once the students go through the practice, now they have a mastery quiz to see if they master that skill. Clicking on preview, you get to see what it looks like from the student's perspective. You, as a teacher, can view the answer key here. Obviously, students don't have that. They do have some extra tools here. There are highlighters. They can have this text to speech where they're able to have the questions read to them. They have a dictionary as well, and then they have a place where they can create a sticky notes if they need to write some notes before they take the mastery quiz. Clicking on start. Okay, here's where it's read to them. Okay, they come and read, and then they click on continue. All right, and now they need to answer the question. There are 10 questions here, and when they're finished, they click on submit. Okay, and that will exit them out of the quiz. If they click on exit before they finished, it will ask if they want to save their answers and continue later. Okay, so that's what a mastery quiz looks like. And then any PDFs you can preview. Clicking on preview, it's going to show you the PDF. You can go ahead and download that, save that into your Google Drive, and then you can assign that to your students in Schoology. Notice that this is available for students to annotate. And then you have the answers for that. You can preview the answer key for that specific worksheet. Okay? So that's what it looks like for the resources. Now I'm going to show you how to assign it to your students. Clicking on assign, any assign button that you see in any one of these boxes, just so that you know, it's going to assign whatever is here. So I can't just assign this lesson. I have to assign the lesson and the practice. See, coming down here, if I want to assign all three, I would click on this assign button. Okay, so know that assigning is going to assign whatever is encased within the box. Okay, so clicking on assign. Now I'm able to, if I wanted to, I can change the assignment title, right? If I want to call it text evidence or add to that, I can choose the start date. So if I wanted it to start in a later date, I can select that date. I need to choose an end date. This is the date that it must be completed. I can choose my class. So if you are departmentalized, you can choose both classes. If you have students in both classes that you think would benefit from this resource, you don't have to create two separate assignments. Do it right here. And then coming down, you're able to choose your students by selecting the check box next to their name, or you can select all and then click on assign. Notice that you need to put an end date, and then you have enforce end dates. Enforcing dates means that that end date will be active, meaning that once that date has been reached, the assignment will no longer be available to your students. And then you click on assign. Once you do that, just click on assign here. Oops, I need an end date. I'm so sorry. Let's do it today. Click on assign. Okay, now that's assigned. Now, if I want to see at the end, if I want to see my students' results, right, I can go to teacher assignments from here. But obviously, if the students haven't done anything yet, I can access my assignments from my classes, go to my assignments, and you'll see here are my assignments. And now I can click on here and see who I assigned it to, the start date, the completion date, how much time they spent on task, if they've started, and their score. Okay. All right. So this has been a video on how to utilize the Assess and Teach part of ExactPath and we utilized the priority skill lesson section and we searched by skill. Just so that you know, it is the same steps here when we are searching by standards. The only difference that we're doing is instead of searching by a skill, we're searching by a standard. So you just pick your subject area, pick your grade level, and then you would have to pick your state standard. Okay? And you would have results from there, which I don't see any relating to that. So it looks like it's probably better off choosing, looks like math works, but it looks like reading does not when you are searching by standard. Okay, so I hope this helps, guys. If you need anything else, please reach out and have a great day.